But we put it on our menu, and lo and behold, it became one of the biggest sellers on our menu because people want to try rattlesnake to see what it tastes like.
Rattlesnake is so popular that Chef Doug Lee buys over 4,000 snakes a year.
This is a snake that we use in Texas all the time. What we do with it here in Texas, we're going to fry it up. Bread it with flour. This is just egg and milk. And we're going to go dip it in a fryer over here.
What makes you want to say, Yahoo!
First thing they usually ask, is it poisonous? But the venom is only in its fangs. It's not in the meat. As you can see, it's starting to turn brown. It's floating. We're going to let all the grease drip off it and put it on the skillet like that so they can see the meat part. We always like to put jalapenos with everything here. Very hot. Hot stuff. We love hot stuff in Texas.
2 rattlesnake steaks.
But for some customers, rattlesnake might prove just a bit too hot to handle.
No, I don't believe I want any rattlesnake. Thank you.
It kind of bears on your mind every time you take a bite of it, you think it's going to bite you back.
Diners might joke about their dinner biting back, but for the hunter-gatherers whose job it is to actually catch the snakes, it's no laughing matter. Rick Crutchfield of the Longhorn Trading Post on Route 66 has been hunting snakes since he was 10 years old. He let us in on a few secrets about how he survived this long.
Well, mostly all I wear is just boots. I mean, I've got some special design boots that I put on that's extra heavy. Yeah, I mostly go hunting in the springtime, early spring, when they're first coming out of their dens. I catch plenty. I mean, a lot of times more than I want to. It gets a little scary every once in a while. Okay, let's go hunting. Around here, around these old fence rows and old trees, any place there's a lot of stuff that's grown up is a real good place to find them. And it's a little bit cool today. I don't know if we'll have any luck today or not, but we'll give it a best shot. I'm always scared. I'm afraid of them. You know, I don't want to get bit. I never have been bitten, but I guess that's the excitement and the thrill of it.
This was a successful trip. The catch? 1 6-foot diamondback rattlesnake.
Pretty animal. They can strike like half the distance of their body length. Like that snake right there, if he turned, he could hit me from that distance. You just got to watch him. And he's a pretty big snake.
Venomous snakes bite about 8,000 people a year in the United States. Over a dozen of these bites will prove fatal. A statistic which doesn't automatically make your mouth water.
Still get a little nervous, you know. Still a bit nervous. A lot of times you come up, they're just coming out of their den. There's liable to be, there could be as many as 400 snakes in one den. If you get in the middle of those, you know, and you've got them, it gets a little spooky.
Risky, but in this case, the pros have been outweighing the cons for centuries.
The Comanche warriors used to eat rattlesnake, respecting it for its toxicity as a source of great strength before battle. So the Comanche Indians were eating rattlesnake long before the Texans ever did.
Texans have only recently caught on to this slithery steak. But our next tasty treat has been hopping around for centuries. Singapore is next, and frog's legs porridge.
I've eaten frog's legs, but never in porridge, no.
Frog legs, yes, but not porridge. No, never.
I might be game enough just to try a little bit, but there's no way, if I knew what it was, that I could eat the whole bowl.
The island nation of Singapore is one of the most vibrant and colorful communities in Southeast Asia. Everything about Singapore is influenced by its historical position at the center of trade routes between China and India. This means that the menus are spicy, they're exotic, and they're also full of these. Eating frogs isn't only a French tradition. It also has a very strong fan base in this part of the world. This is where Singapore's frog fans come for their favorite snack, the Kreta Ayer wet market. Frogs were introduced to the island by Chinese immigrants in the early 19th century. They'd long been a staple ingredient in the diets of less wealthy Chinese because they were cheap and easy to catch. And although there are over 3,000 different species in the world, Here, the frog of choice is the Asian bullfrog. Market traders like Roland Wong import them from nearby Malaysia and sell 200 a week.
At this moment, it's very, very popular. Baby need frogs, old ladies need frogs, youngsters need frogs. You build up these bones and build a muscle. They are also good for their body. Now it's very popular in Singapore. The best, if the frog is sleeping frog, it's not a best frog.
Like chicken, you can spot a good frog by the size of its thigh, and the similarities don't end there.
A lot of people think that frogs' legs taste like chicken, and there's an interesting comparison here. But if we look at the nutritional profile of frogs' legs compared with a standard fast-fried chicken drumstick, we find it has the same protein, the same calcium, the same iron, but that the chicken leg has 5,000 times more fat than the frog's leg.
But it's porridge pans, not frying pans, that Singapore chefs use to prepare frogs' legs. We tracked down one of the best places to sample frogs' legs porridge, the Gaylong Frog Stall, where only the freshest and liveliest frogs are delivered. The stall gets through 500 frogs in a weekend. Once chopped, the frogs are cooked in a spicy sauce and eaten with a plain rice porridge to complement the strong flavors. Owner Lai Veng Kine let us in on a few secrets about the best frogs for this dish.
I always pick the frogs which are about 200 grams and medium-sized. That's ideal. If they're any bigger, they don't taste good.
It will be late evening in Singapore before Lai Veng Kine sees his customers. In the meantime, porridge making goes into full swing. The city has a vibrant club scene, which supplies the Frog's Legs porridge stall with most of its regular customers.
We have Frog's Legs after a late night out, clubbing and all that, and we have Frog's Legs with friends so that we can talk about the week that's just passed. And basically it's a social dish for us.
I love Frog's Legs because it's for health reasons. It tastes really, really good. It tastes like chicken. And it circulates the blood. It makes you feel better. They cook it with chicken of essence. It really simmers in the flavor. And what happens when we eat it with porridge?
Frog's Legs porridge might slip down quite easily, but stay with us for a dish with a sharper bite. Think fish, think teeth, think rotten shark. Think jaws. Think close encounters of a hugely unwelcome kind. If you're talking dinner companion, then it's probably you that's on the menu. But we discovered that the tables are completely turned as we head toward the Arctic Circle and the Big Chill in Iceland. Here you're more likely to get your jaws around shark than the other way around. He thinks it's rotten. He's 100% correct. Shark is eaten in many parts of the world, but in and around Iceland, shark was certainly not at the top of their fish wish list. But this close to the Arctic Circle, food options were limited for the early settlers. Suddenly, rotten shark started to look like a good idea.
When Iceland was settled in the 9th century, there was no game in Iceland, no animals to hunt, and they had to rely very much on everything from the sea. And a shark caught was quite a lot of food because it is a big fish.
So quantity obviously wasn't the problem, but Mother Nature delivered one enormous minus. To not put too fine a point on it, Greenland shark smells, and where there's a stink, you'll often find there's a poison. And that's definitely true here. You see, to assist with their buoyancy in the water, sharks maintain a form of urine in their skin and flesh, just the bits that the Icelanders wanted to eat. In fact, all sharks do this, but the Greenland shark eaten in Iceland has higher levels of toxicity than